Hello, everyone. Chris Zeminski here. We're going to spend just a few minutes talking about Zoom. We've all been inundated with a whole bunch of different virtual ways of meeting with other people, and Zoom is one platform that we use a lot. So we just want to take a few minutes to orient ourselves to how we can really use it as a highly effective collaborative tool.
Hi, TJ McKenna. Yes, I've been spending a ton of time on Zoom, and I'm sure you've all heard the frustrations around, well, it can do this, it can't do this, I'm struggling doing this. So we really just wanted to highlight some of the more useful aspects of Zoom so that you can use it effectively.
Yeah, so really the first thing you're going to get is an invite to Zoom. And so mine usually come through email. You can sync it to your calendar. Someone can just send you a meeting ID, but we usually get an invite through email. It's going to look something like this. The most important thing to find is right underneath Join Zoom Meeting is the link to the meeting itself. We're going to click on that in 1 second, but there's a lot of other information here in this email.
Yeah,
right
what are all
the,
those numbers?
Yeah, so another way to join is through your meeting ID. So you're always more than welcome just to download the Zoom app, sign in, and go to new meetings, and you can just enter this long code, the long, 11, 10 digits into the meeting ID. You can also join through your phone. It's going to give you a lot of different options of numbers to call. The one thing that you're not going to get if you join by the phone is access to all of the materials that the hosts might be sharing or that the other people in the meeting might be sharing through something called the screen share. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and just click on the link to join the Zoom meeting. If you forget to click open Zoom meetings here, this disappears, and then you're going to get a little bit lost and it's going to be harder to find. So I'm going to go ahead and click open to Zoom meeting. I'm going to move. It's asking me for a video preview right now. I'm going to join with video. It's going to tell me that it's connecting. And then this is just a security feature for Zoom. There's going to be a host of the meeting. In this case, it's TJ. And I have to wait in what's called the waiting room for him to allow me in. I'm also going to join with computer audio. But before I even do that, one thing we want to keep in mind is that if you're using the mic on your computer, it picks up all the sounds in your room. If somebody's working on the street, it might pick up some of those sounds. If people are in the other room cooking, it's going to pick up all of those sounds as well. And everybody is going to hear that. So it's really helpful to have a set of earbuds available. You can just plug them right into your computer. And in this way, we only hear what we want to hear. So I can hear TJ, TJ can hear me. We don't hear everybody else. With the mic, everybody will be able to hear me nice and clearly, and people won't have to ask me to repeat. When we start collaborating, it's really important that we can hear everybody's voice and everybody feels confident to participate in the conversation. And as simple as it sounds, it really starts with earbuds. So I'm going to click Join with Computer Audio. You can always test all of this as well. So I'm using the computer audio, and sorry. And so here I am. I'm going to make this full screen, and TJ's in here twice just because in 1 second we're going to flip over to see what the host sees. And right now I'm muted, and this is just because there's going to be an echo in our recording here. So I muted myself. I can unmute myself. Now everybody can hear me. I'm going to mute myself, and I can start and stop the video. Normally, I would always start my video when I'm joining a meeting. So everybody knows I'm here. Everybody knows I'm ready to participate. The only reason my video is off right now is because with my operating system, it won't allow me to run the camera in 2 separate applications. So a good rule of thumb is just close everything else that's on your computer when you join a Zoom meeting. The bandwidth can be a little finicky, and you can get into this start and stop the robot voice pretty easily if you have too many other programs on at the same time. We can look to see who else is in the meeting by clicking on participants. And then chat is a great way for us to communicate with either everybody, or I can just choose TJ. So right now, TJ can send a message to everybody. And as soon as you click return on that or enter, it's going to be a message available for everybody. We can share files this way. We can share links this way. It's a really great way to be collaborative. And the only other thing I'm going to show you before we hand it off to TJ is up in where my name is, there's these little snow cones, and I can click rename. Sometimes it might be helpful to just put my first name. It might be helpful for everybody to see my last name as well. I can go ahead and change my name. I can set it so it will always remember what name I want to be visible for all the other participants. And I can even do something called pinning the screen. So if I want everybody to either concentrate on what I'm saying, or maybe what I do is I want to have a whiteboard behind me where everybody can see the whiteboard. If I pin to my screen, everybody can see all of that behind me. So TJ, what's it look like from the host's perspective?
All right, so switching to the host perspective, you see something very similar, which is very helpful. You want to see what everybody else is seeing. And so one of the things I want to call out is right now you can see that Chris Ziminsky's name is highlighted in yellow. That's what happens on Zoom when that person is making noise. A lot of times they're talking. Sometimes when you're working with students, there might be, dogs barking in the background. It's just your way of knowing that audio is coming from this one box. I could, as the host, ask to mute, ask to unmute. You can see all of those options popping up. I can also go into the participants at the bottom. I could look at the chat, which we know Chris told me the weather is perfect here. And I said, great, thanks, Chris. I could message somebody individually. You also see the record, the breakout rooms, all of these different elements. Now we have an entire other video focused on breakout rooms because those are pretty complicated in terms of setting those up. But as a participant, you should just know that when you're collaborating, you're going to be asked to go into a breakout room. All you have to do is join the breakout room. And then as the host, when hosts bring you back, all you have to do is come back to the main room. So think of it like you're walking down the hallway at your school, going into a different classroom, and then the breakout rooms are going to bring you back. That's really all you need to know from this end in terms of how all these things are working together.
And so I think really the only other thing is TJ uses a Mac. I use a Windows-based PC. And so our versions are going to look just slightly different. What we want to just keep in mind is that we're looking for things like chat. We're looking at the participants. We're really looking in the lower left-hand corner for that mute, unmute, start, and stop video. It's always going to be those same features that we're looking for. And those should be really the same big ideas that we want to be looking whenever we're in a Zoom meeting. There's one or two other things we can do. You can always go back and check to make sure you're on the most updated version of Zoom. And that's something really helpful because as so many people are switching to this virtual world for meetings, Zoom is constantly updating their functionality. There's been a lot of changes, for example, to breakout rooms, which is why we're going to address a lot of that in a separate video.
And those breakout rooms and updates and things that are happening with the chat and security measures like the waiting room, passcodes, all of those things are being updated. And you really don't want to get caught in an update when you have that meeting that starts right at 3, or you have that meeting that starts right at 11. And so try your best to build in some of that time to do a pre-update. I know I try to do it. If I have a meeting at 3, I make sure I log on at 2:45 at least so I can do my update so I don't get stuck outside of the meeting or stuck in the waiting room as Zoom is updating on my computer.
Yeah, and likewise, you can always test your audio and you can test your video connection as well. So you make sure those are working perfectly for when you join a meeting. So I think with that, we're just going to say happy Zooming, happy collaboration, and we'll see you in the virtual space somewhere.
All right, thank you.